You've been thinking about get the high schools and put the teams for the race?
For
It's like for like the reindeer?
the reindeer run?
Yeah,
Oh, well, a lot of my kids run in it. I mean, I coach track and cross
Right.
country. A lot of my kids run in it.
Right.
But most of mine, in Saraland, most of their kids do too.
I was wondering if we had a lot of high schools teams right there.
Yeah, they, to be honest with you, in the 5Ks and the local races, there's always a high attendance from Saraland and Satsuma runners. There's not a lot, that McGill-Tulane, some of those schools,
Right.
they show up to. There are certain, you got to be careful how many races you do outside of SAA events. But you do have to be careful of that. As a coach, I have to watch that. So I encourage them to run the reindeer run because I'm there. So, but yeah, we do have a lot of athletes that come up. So we actually, and I'll tell you, because my son coaches at the University of Mobile, there's a lot of runners that come running.
You know, on Thanksgiving, every year in New Orleans, they had a big, like 400 or 500
Oh, yeah.
runners.
Yeah. The turkey trot here in Mobile is big too on Thanksgiving morning. So there's several, I think, how many, Randy? You think there's a couple thousand runners in there?
At least.
Yeah. It's a big deal. The reindeer run's getting big though. It's a lot of fun. We're getting to be known as kind of a fun race. We try to make the atmosphere fun, and so.
There's all the door prizes.
It's the door prizes, and I think me dressed up as Buddy the Elf is kind of a big deal too. So. Which some things you can't unsee. So.
Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all's help. I appreciate you guys helping me. I do. So it's one of the reasons the Port City Pacers wants to come back to Satsuma is because of the community support. And that's what, when they called me a few weeks ago, that's what they asked. So it's a good deal. So, all right.
Okay. All right.
Y'all need
Sounds
anything?
good. Y'all
I'll
need
get
any
you,
other
do you
questions?
want me to just send Edith a sponsorship form, or what, how do you want me to do
That'd be fine. I think they'll agree to it.
that? I'll run it down tomorrow.
Sponsorship.
So, all right.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
guys. I
Brad.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Paul Rankin. May he be back for the regular meeting. Okay, is there anyone else that was intending to come before the council tonight? Okay. All right, moving on down the agenda, we'll speed up a little bit. We had this titled, the Go Mesa Point, where I could keep kind of apprised of what's going on while this project is underway. They estimated today that they have finished approximately 90% of it. We did receive a payment request there. You've got the amount for $303,822.87. The project so far is under budget a little bit. We have some money left over. I wanted to let y'all know tonight that I recommended to the contractor last week that we use some of the surplus that we had left over in a couple of the funds. We knew we'd put a little extra cushion in to use that for the parking lot now, to go ahead and start that repair now that construction is about through. We need to build it up approximately 4 to 6 inches to prevent those mud puddles and the water that's there that's going out. And if y'all have been down there in recent weeks, you've seen the place is parked. They parked all the way everywhere. All the parking is being taken. So with that, I was going to go ahead and approve that payment and request that they try to start as soon as possible. Doing it during weekdays because the Friday, Saturday, Sundays is just so packed down there. And like everything else, weather permitting and no high water, they feel like they can do it within 5 working days. If it's, obviously if we have some high water or real rain, it could put a dampener on that, but I don't think it is. The project has progressed pretty good, I think, so far. So is there any questions y'all have or anything we need?
You're gonna have to try to do it in those off times because it's right in those heavy traffic areas is where some of the problem is.
Yes, we're going to have to block it, that area, and as soon as they can get all their remaining stuff out of there and start it. Okay. Moving on down for the mayor's report. We've once again experienced several deaths in our city and surrounding areas since the last council meeting. Ms. Deborah Bunch, Ms. Kemp, Ms. Jordan, also Mr. Bo Myers, y'all may have known him, had Byers Country Store there in Creola for a number of years. And also today, we had a funeral of Miss Dot Barnes, longtime resident, so express our condolences to those families. A couple weeks ago, we had our graduation out back, and almost everyone here attended that, so that was a very nice event. We got a nice letter from Mr. Diaz, the principal, thanking all of us for the help we did that night and thanking us for the attendance. He also gave me a very nice phone call thanking us for attending and for the support the city had given this past year. Also, we received a thank you letter for the help from Miss President All out there that came after our last council meeting, so that was very nice. Thank you for that. Which kind of goes into the next thing. Memorial Day's celebration we had Monday, yesterday, a week ago here at City Hall. We had a good attendance. The weather was real pretty. Major Holt was the featured speaker. He did good. I think it went pretty fast, and we've had several compliments that came in and thanks from family members of those whose names are out there on the monument. So we had another one today that called to thank us for that. So just letting y'all know that. Just a reminder that tomorrow is the day we've been waiting for well over 2 years now, and that's the water sewer bid is scheduled for 10 a.m. in the morning on the first floor of the Mobile County Courthouse, what they used to call the multi-purpose room. Any of you would like to attend, you're more than welcome to show up. I think you said you were going to try to. Mr. Skelton's going to be there. I intend to be there. So also, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also scared of what the bids may be, but we're looking very forward to that finally coming to fruition. And don't forget, we do have a water board next Monday night. I received a phone call this afternoon that said our senior van is scheduled to be completed and delivered to Birmingham before the last day of the month, and they need approximately 2 weeks to get it here, get the paperwork to us from Sharpsy. So they are looking at 2 weeks from the last day of this month that we should have the van delivered. And I know we've been waiting on that for a couple of years also.
Amen.
And if y'all have had a chance to go by and look at the chapel, they have been making a little headway on that in the last couple of weeks, and hopefully they'll stay working on that. I'd love to see that project come to a completion soon too, and I know some of y'all would. Y'all still have some tickets available for Sunday? So don't forget that the ladies are having a luncheon and a singing of Bo Grant at Steel Creek Lodge this Sunday, starting at 12 noon, I think I saw on Facebook. And how would you go about getting tickets if somebody needed them?
We will have tickets at the door.
Okay,
So they can get them at the door, they can get them from us tonight.
okay. The tickets are $15 each? Okay. All right, well, good luck and hope that'll be very successful. The sidewalks and the paving projects that we have been working on with Civil Southeast has been progressing. Y'all may see some of the bills. We are hoping to have the project ready to bid by the first of the month on these streets and all. So the sidewalk project, we're still waiting on the meeting of leasing with AlDOT and the regional planning. So I'll let y'all know when we find out something on that. But I think both are moving down the pipeline pretty good. Got the monthly calendar, y'all can see we've, or something going on, it seems like all the time. Last Thursday night, the planning board recommended approval of a zoning request to move some property from an R1 to an R2. The property is located on Hartley Road between Hummingbird and Avondale. It was a subdivision that was started a number of years ago. The person who owns it now has been working with George and also the Water and Sewer Department to try to get get all the paperwork that would be needed to answer any questions that we may have on that. But in order for it to go from an R1 to an R2, the planning board hears it, but they refer it to the council. It will require a council vote, which will require a public hearing. If you'll see down further in the minutes, we are going to request there be a public hearing be posted for 6:45 before our next council meeting. So that's what it is, and I wanted to make sure none of y'all had any questions regarding what's going on regarding that. Okay, I think we have had Jessica to give y'all a copy of the financials. So if y'all want to look over that, it's in your packet tonight. Also, the municipal dinner would be before our next council meeting, so remind you, it should be June the 15th. It will be hosted by the Mobile County Commission.
Did they send out an email yet?
I haven't got,
They didn't know where it was gonna be at,
Okay,
and that was like Monday.
okay. Will you just forward that to us when you get it? Okay, thank you.
I think yet a few other things are listed down under discussion or the resolutions. So, public services, Mr. Little?
Mayor, I've got the building report department and the sanitation department, but I can do that in the meeting.
Okay. Public safety, Mr. Butler?
We can tell you the stance for May at the regular council meeting. We can do it then,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Sure. Moving on down to you, Mr. Skelton, administration.
I don't have anything today.
Parks, Ms. Reese?
Yes, sir. I was just wondering if there was anything that we need to agree upon as a council for the upcoming hurricane season. Anything, I don't know if we need to, I know sometimes we make preparations to put in place, like, is it contractors or whatever, that if we need to like look at any documents that we have, because I think it was a couple years ago, we thought we had something in place and it expired, and then we had to kind of hurry up and get something together at the last minute. But I'm sure that you've probably made preparations with your departments, or at least got some meetings coming up to.
We have had some
Discuss that.
meetings and looked at some of that, and it was.
Okay, and then football registration is still going on. So check Facebook, and that's for the youth. Also, the Satsuma Color Guard will be hosting a car wash fundraiser on Saturday from 10 to 4. The location is I don't know if y'all know where Herb's Laundromat is in Saraland. There's an ice machine right next to that, but it's that parking lot area. So they're accepting donations. And then I know we're going to talk about football equipment further down, and then the library window seals. So I'll talk about that when we get to it. That's all I have for now.
Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, I'll just review what I have during the regular meeting.
Next will be items for discussion and/or consideration. First thing tonight is the payment of the bills.
I can do that.
I'll second.
B, discussion and consideration of the resignation of Brian Woods as a supernumerary fireman to be effective it was effective on May the 24th, 2023, to be in good standing.
I've got this one.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Butler, seconded by Mr. Skelton. Second, discussion and consideration of quotes received for the window sills located at the library. Have we got the quotes?
Are we just gonna decide on the lowest responsible bidder on that kind of thing? I mean, we've got bids here, but I don't know if they're all comparable. It looks like Oakley Custom Woodworks, Joe Tarver Construction, and then Reed Remodels.
George added some notes in there too, on those.
Do you, go ahead.
The first one you mentioned, that's with no labor,
Yeah, I see that there.
and then you have the garbage, and then you have the third one, just doesn't meet the scope of work. I mean, they're gonna put Band-Aids all over it.
George, did they write a scope of work, what they wanted done?
I thought somebody from the library was coming over. Maybe she'll be here, because I don't know, were you involved in the scope of work for this?
They should be scope of work wrote and then sealed bids, I would think.
She got those bids herself, she just brought one yesterday.
Travis, was she working with you on it?
No, she showed it to me. And, I recommended Joe Tarver look at it to offer a scope of work. But after that, I didn't hear anything.
I know in the, at the previous meeting, I had made copies of the condition of the windows. And I see where she's put on here, that she contacted Oakley Custom Works, Joe Tarver, Heath Jernigan, and Jeremy Reed to get bids for the window repair. So, it didn't say anything about scope of work or anything like that. But I have those pictures if y'all needed to refresh on that.
Yeah, we'll need to study that a little more. Maybe we'll have a little time in between the meetings.
Should we, if she doesn't show up, do you want to table it until next meeting?
Yes, I do.
I feel like I hear her outside.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if she's not here to make that motion, thank you. Okay, discussion and consideration of approving threat advice policies.
I'll handle that one.
I'll second it.
E, discussion and consideration of buying football equipment for the youth program.
Did you want Mr. Bentley to come up and kind of present what his request would be?
Yeah, we got a few minutes, if you don't, please. Mr. Bentley, please.
I'll be quick. Thank y'all for taking my time. Someone asked me the end of last year, said, hey, we need someone to oversee the football program. I was like, I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of responsibility. It's like, let me think about it. And come to the decision, yeah, I'll take care of it. And I went up there, started looking at a lot of this stuff, and with the equipment, these helmets are supposed to be replaced every 10 years. Half of them are 10 years old. And with safety concerns now, with concussions and everything else, they have to be replaced. And I just on the bank account now for Regions, as far as the parts concerned, and we have, I believe, $1,000 in the account for as a park for football. Registrations start the last 2 Thursdays of June, the first 2 Thursdays of July. I called the Schultz and talked to her as far as the cost of equipment, and she gave me a quote. I said, man, that's a lot. And I called Academy where they had them at, and they was $5,000 more. So I was like, man, let me see if I could try to get some grants for all this stuff. So do y'all have any questions I can answer?
I guess basically we kind of got together and he was letting me know what he is charging for the registration fee, and that will cover, I mentioned it in here when I handed y'all the information last time. So we're looking at $105 per kid for the uniforms, That's practice and play jerseys and pants. And then insurance and league fees, if you divided that by the projected 60 kids, that would be just right under $20 per child. So that's $125, which would leave us about $50 per kid. But then you had mentioned there was going to be an end-of-the-year party.
End-of-the-year party
And then their like trophy
dinner
type
and
thing.
They don't do trophies no more, all the kids want rings.
I'm sorry, ring,
And
yeah.
they, last year they were $600 for 70 rings. And, we rented out the skating ring and did pizza, and that's what the boys wanted. They've been doing them for 3 or 4 years, and the price hasn't changed. They haven't went up, haven't went down, there's roughly $600. And, we have 70 helmets up there, like I said, but been doing recruiting. A lot of kids want to come play up here just because we play on Tuesday nights. You don't have to be at the ballpark on Saturdays. We play at the high school, which is the reason why a lot of kids want to come play. We've had 2 kids come from West Mobile. Last year, I had a whole travel baseball team come play football for me because their Saturdays are travel baseball. So they come play, and they all coming back, and they all bringing some more friends. So hopefully, we could probably have about 100 kids sign up because they like it. They like the schedule. We don't start practice until when school goes back into session because it's a private league. We play St. Paul's, UMS, Mobile Christian and Faith Academy in Covington. That's all we play. It's a developmental league because I've been going back and forth with the head coach of Satsuma, and he says the main goal is to teach these kids the fundamentals of the game. That's it. Teach them how to tackle, teach them responsibilities that are gaps with the offense or defensive lineman, and teach them how to hold a football. Just basic skill stuff that a lot of kids don't know once they get to middle school. He says, that's what I want you to do with this program. Because that's what UMS and St. Paul's does, and that's the reason why they're successful. Because the head football coach is involved with the park league to oversee how things are going. So he's been going in contact with me about, hey, look, this is what I want. It's like, okay, that's fine, I can handle that. But it's just the main concern is equipment. Just, it's safety protocol now with just concussions and everything else. It's mandated, so I don't know. And I'm doing my best to try to do some fundraisers. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I can do and also to try some sponsors as well.
So we kind of put some numbers together with that. So basically, the shoulder pads also are out of date. I think you said they're good for 5 years, and they are at that, if not past. And so at $227 per kid, and with about 50 of that possibly being able to be covered through the registration fee, if the league puts up $2,837.50, they're asking the city to match that with $2,837.50. That would get 25 sets, or cover 25 children. And then I'm also going to prepare a letter, like I had mentioned to y'all, to present to Ms. Ludgood and then also to Representative Stringer to see if the state and the county could cover the other $5,675 so we could get 50 sets total. And so basically that's what we're asking for from the city is the $28,3750. And we have some money in improvements to Lions, miscellaneous, that would more than cover that. So I'm asking, and he's asking for the kids if we could do the $2,837.50.
The registration fees, have you checked other cities? Is we kind of
Yes.
comparable or?
We're
Or-
very compatible, especially with Saraland. Saraland's is around the same, it's probably a $10 difference.
Okay.
So is Municipal, West Mobile, a lot of them is running the same. Yes, sir.
Bobby, you mentioned travel ball teams and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Percentage-wise, how many of them kids live here in Satsuma?
About half.
50% of the
Yes, sir.
kids playing to be Satsuma?
Yes, sir. What we're hoping is that with Saraland becoming massive, these kids want to play. When they get to high school, they want to play. They don't want to ride a bench. So what we're looking at is, look, you come here, we'll develop you how to play. Come here and play high school ball too. Because a lot of these kids, they don't want to ride a bench. And you look at what Saraland's going on with all the 5 stars and 4 stars they're having, a lot of these kids don't want to ride a bench for 3 years. They want to play. And we're the next school in line. So that's the main thing with this, is like, look, why don't you come here, develop, and go to high school here too and play? Because everybody loves football. Football is fun. And I just want to, I grew up, I played at that park, and I just want to do my due diligence and do the same thing. Teach these kids the love of the game of football. That's it.
It's going to be very aggressive to get much sponsorship if you're looking at really starting restoration in 2 weeks from Saturday. And you said that half of the equipment is outdated.
We have 70 helmets. 20 of them was built in 2013. We have a couple of new ones that parents bought last year and saying, look, we just go donate them to the league because they're moving to middle school. So we have 3 of those. We have some that's from 2016, they're still good, and we have a few from 2018, they're still good as well. It's just we have, the main concern, we've pulled 10 that's no longer in service because they're from 2010. We just went ahead and pulled those out and stored them in the concession stand. So that's what I've been
Why wouldn't you just get rid of them if they're outdated?
Yes, sir.
You
I
got
just,
the
we
safety concern.
stuffed them there just so I didn't know what to do with them. So we just didn't know if we needed to throw them away or turn them in, or don't know, or recycle them since they all plastic, I don't know. But I started this a couple of weeks ago and I've just been going full throttle trying to figure out what I need to do. It's like, because I just got on the account for us, the park itself, for us, the football. So I've been doing all that and figure out exactly how much money we have, how much money can we put towards this. And the biggest thing is, the lady told me at the Schultz, it takes about a month. Once they order it, take about a month for it to get in.
That's what I'm saying, and you need the money. Traditionally, you just mentioned one earlier, we donate money when the teams are out trying to raise money.
Right.
And then we fill in the gap.
Yes.
Or help out.
Yes.
I'm not opposed to helping out, but
And
it would feel
that's,
good if y'all was having a barbecue dinner
Oh,
or
yeah, yes, sir.
fundraiser or something like some of the others.
Yes, sir.
That we could contribute to.
right.
And because I just don't think that $2,300, even with that, is going to get them enough equipment to, if the price you're giving me, if he's got 100 people, that ain't going, they gonna need more than that.
Are
Sure.
y'all planning on running the concession stand this year?
Well, we didn't do the concession last year because our games was at the high school. Now, for as practice is concerned, I've talked to Miss Barber, who runs the cheerleading, and I'm not for sure yet, because I don't know exactly how much money that's gonna cost to actually run that. Because you gotta have, hot food and cold beverages and everything. I'm not for sure how much that's gonna cost to actually run that during practice, because our practices are gonna be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday before the season starts. And once the game starts, we'll practice practice Monday and Thursday, games on Tuesday, no practice on Fridays because of the high school game. And our season's over with by Halloween, because we roughly have 7 games a year. And we'll start practice when school gets back into session. So once school starts back in August, that's the league states that we can't have summer practices. We gotta start practice when school starts back. So that's fine. Then, that's the main thing, just trying to work on sponsorship. I know it's a time crunch, and with me just coming in, I was like, man, we got a lot of stuff we got to get in line with this. And I know I just took over, so I'm like, all right, just got to go with it and see.
And they won't have this expense for the next 10 years. So basically, it's $22 per kid to rent the equipment out to them, I guess. to
The
pay
other
them.
half of the equipment is not gonna run out in the next 10 years,
Most of them's from 2018.
so 28.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if that's all you're asking for, but I feel like you probably need to get more money. I mean, because they're just not gonna have it. When's your first practice that you're gonna have pads on?
we have to practice a week before we'll have pads. So I'm not for sure exactly when school goes back into session, but that second
Around
week,
Probably the first week of August,
that second week of August is when we'll have it.
and it said you need a month.
It says she says if you order them, I talked to her at the middle of May, she says if you order them in May, we'll have them there at the end of June, is what she said. And I went with just the basic helmet, because they have some that goes up to $300 a piece. I said, we don't need that, they're just kids.
Is that this 162 price?
Yeah, 162 price is that's the helmet, and the shoulder pads is $65. Academy, the exact same helmet was $215, I'm sorry, $220, and the shoulder pads were $90.
What do you want?
I don't have a problem helping with the sponsorship,
You just tell me what I need to do on my end, and I get it done.
because he's got the interest and he's got the kids, and, you know, my thing is if there's kids that want to play, I don't want to be the one that holds them back, you know?
We had 70 kids last year.
If it's something I can help with, but,
Just,
you know, but there's
y'all tell me
also
what you want
a legal way we got to do it. And make sure we're on the up and up by whatever we do.
What's the age group of this league?
It's third grade through sixth grade.
So I'm a executive member of the Senior Bowl Touchdown Club.
Okay.
One of the things that we're trying to do is find ways for youth park leagues, and I was going to mention that at some point. The one thing that the Senior Bowl will not do, though, is provide helmets because of the liability associated.
Yes.
with stuff like that. But they will supplement leagues with additional equipment, football, bags.
Shoulder
pads.
pads.
They don't want to do any kind of actual protective
Safety
equipment
equipment.
because of the liability associated with it. I'm not the only lawyer on that executive
Jerseys.
committee. Jerseys, absolutely, and that's one thing that the Senior Bowl is doing a great job of right now, is actually taking old Senior Bowl equipment and funneling it out to some of the local programs. They're doing that mostly with the high school players, because it's hard to give,
The
you know,
sizes.
college players equipment and, you know, jerseys and stuff to youth leagues, but they are
Yes.
focused on helping the youth programs around here, so I think that could be a great opportunity. But there certainly are legal issues with providing stuff like helmets for stuff like this.
That's the main thing, because I got to get with the insurance person, because we have to re-register insurance at the end of July. That goes for a whole year. That covers in case if a kid collapses or concussion, breaks the arm or something like that. That's what that insurance is for. So I got to get back in contact with him, and that's roughly almost $1,000 a year. So I'm just busy every week with it, just figuring out what I need to do to get this going. And I'll be doing it for another 3 years, because my kid's in fourth grade, so I'll be here this year, next year, and the following year. And if nobody else does it, I guess I'll continue to do it, because I just want to see it grow. You know, when I played there, we had over 100 kids play. And I just wanted to continue to see it build.
Okay,
What if we did enough for 20 sets at $4,540?
why don't you just put it up to 5,000, that way if they go a few dollars over it, we just got it, and that's, help them get started.
Okay, thank you.
That, hopefully get y'all going.
Yes, sir. It's perfect. Just wherever else y'all need me, I'll be more than willing to do.
All right, you gonna make that in form of a motion at the meeting tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she'll need a second.
Thanks, second.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. Yes, sir. Now we're going to speed on these others. I've already discussed the public hearing, 6:45 before the next council meeting on the rezoning the property. We've already discussed the We Love Satsuma sponsorship. I think he said he'd get us the paperwork, but I feel like we'll do the 500 sponsorship. If that's what he said. Are y'all okay with that?
Sure.
If yes, so I need
I'd make that.
I'll second.
Mr. Skelton and Mr. Little, that's good. The H is discussion and consideration of the resignation of Reginald Lee as a public service worker to be effective June the 2nd, and that will be not in good standing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Phillips, and seconded by Mr. Butler. We do have a couple of resolution ordinances and other business. They're in the back of your packet if y'all want to read it over real quick, but it's going to be Resolution 2023-0601, a grant agreement between Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources and ADM. It's going to be on that grant we discussed at the last meeting. C will be Ordinance 548, authorizing joint purchasing agreement with Mobile County, basically just allowing us to purchase with them. It's common, we do it every year. I don't think there'll be any discussion or problem on either one. That is all the business I know of to come before the council. Is there anything else we need to add on or change? If not, we got 9 minutes. We'll come back in regular meeting, hopefully be in and out of here pretty quick. So thank y'all.